11 years, 22,000 kilometers, against the largest empire the world had ever seen, against elephants, against unclimbable cliffs, against death itself. 0 defeats in pitched battle. Not one. This is the true, complete and unfiltered story of how Alexander the Great became the only general in history who never lost. (336 BC). Philip II is assassinated at his daughter's wedding. 20-year-old Alexander is proclaimed king before the blood is dry. He inherits the most terrifying army ever assembled in the Greek world. 18,000 Macedonian phalanx, 6-meter pikes in perfect synchrony, 2,000 companion cavalry. Noblemen who trained from childhood to charge as one Hydaspes. Elite shield-bearers, Thessalian cavalry, Cretan archers, Agrianians, siege engineers. Total 40,000 professionals. His father had already crushed the Greek city-states at Chaeronea. Alexander's first act? He burns Thebes to the ground when it rebels. Message sent. Parmenion, his second in command, begs him to wait until morning. I would be ashamed to be stopped by a stream after crossing an ocean. He attacks at sunset in full armor, riding Bucephalus. The river is chest-deep on horses. Arrows rain. Alexander's red cloak is the target. He kills the satrap of Lydia with his own hand. Within minutes, the Persian command structure is decapitated. The Greek mercenaries abandoned are surrounded and slaughtered or enslaved. First battle, first decisive victory. The road to the Persian Empire lies open. Alexander is outnumbered at least 3.1, possibly 5.1. Darius brings his mother Hydaspes, his wife Tyre, and his children to watch the Macedonian annihilation. Alexander does something insane. He orders the phalanx to advance obliquely, refusing his right wing, then personally leads the companions across the Pinarus River straight at Darius's chariot. A spear pierces Alexander's shield and breastplate. He keeps coming. Darius sees the red cloak cutting through his bodyguard and panics. He leaps from his chariot and flees in a spare horse. The Persian center collapses. 30,000 plus. Persian dead. Alexander captures the entire royal family. He treats them with legendary courtesy. Hydaspes will later refuse to acknowledge any other king. Tyre is an island fortress half a mile offshore. The Tyrians laugh. You have no fleet. Alexander. Then I will build land. He orders a mole 60 meters wide, 1 kilometer long, built under constant arrow and fireship attack. Tyrian divers cut anchor ropes. Alexander builds floating siege towers taller than the walls. 7 months, 8,000 Tyrians dead, 30,000 sold into slavery. The causeway still exists today. Gaza next. Batis, the commander, refuses to surrender. Alexander is shot through the shoulder by a catapult bolt. He still leads the final assault. Batis is dragged behind a chariot until dead. Achilles' revenge for Patroclus. The entire Levant submits. Darius learns from Issus. He chooses a flat plain and levels it for chariots. Alexander arrives exhausted after a lunar eclipse terrifies his men. He sleeps the entire day before battle. Total confidence. Night before, he deliberately thins his center and refuses both wings. Darius takes the bait and charges into the pocket. At the exact moment the Persian center overextends, Alexander forms the companions into a wedge and charges obliquely at 45 degrees, the hammer blow. He rides straight for Darius again. Darius flees a second time. On the left, Parmenion is almost surrounded. The left is breaking. Alexander ignores it, keeps riding for the king. By the time he wheels back, the Persian army has disintegrated. Babylon opens its gates. Susa's treasury, 50,000 talents of gold. Persepolis burned in revenge for Athens. The Achaemenid Empire is dead. Ariobarzanes blocks the narrow pass with 5,000 men. Alexander's vanguard is shredded. He loses hundreds in minutes. For once, he is forced to retreat. That night, he interrogates local prisoners. A shepherd reveals a freezing 3,000-meter goat path. Alexander takes 5,000 men, climbs all night in silence. At dawn, he attacks from the rear. Ariobarzanes is annihilated. The ambush becomes a trap for the trapper. Sogdian Rock, 600 meters high, snow-capped, stocked for years. Defenders taunt, you need men with wings. Alexander offers 300 gold darics to the first 12 up. Macedonian mountaineers hammer iron tent pegs into cracks. They climb at night. At dawn, 300 Macedonians appear above the defenders. The fortress surrenders without a fight. Rock of Corioenes, same story. Alexander marries Roxane, the local warlord's daughter, on the spot. Porus fields the most terrifying army Alexander has ever faced. The Macedonian phalanx refuses to cross the swollen river. Alexander spends days fainting, exhausting the Indians. Then he crosses 20 kilometers upstream in a thunderstorm. He places horse archers to shoot the Mahouts. When the elephants panic, they turn and trample their own infantry. Porus fights on foot after his elephant is wounded. Captured, he is asked how he wishes to be treated. Porus: like a king. Alexander: that is how I will treat you. He gives Porus an even larger kingdom. Bucephalus dies of wounds. Alexander founds Bucephala on the spot. Alexander, impatient, is first over the ladder. Only 3 men follow. An arrow, 15 centimeters long, pierces his lung. He collapses inside the city. The army, believing him dead, fights like demons and massacres every living thing. He is carried out on a shield, blood pouring from his mouth. He raises his hand to prove he lives. The entire army weeps. He survives by sheer will, still undefeated. Speed. Enemies never had time to unite. Combined arms perfected 2,000 years early. Logistics captured Persian royal roads, Bactrian camels, Indian elephants. Personal leadership. He led every decisive charge himself. Psychological dominance. Kings who saw the red cloak coming usually fled. Darius did it twice. He plans Arabia next. Fever strikes. 10 days later, at 32, he is dead.
His last words when asked who inherits the empire: to the strongest.
The empire tears itself apart within months, but no enemy ever defeated him on a battlefield.